Hello, everybody, and welcome back to ChellerinaTalks. Thank you so much for tuning in again to continue with me on my series about how I got married on my third date, right? And we're going to continue as I promised. I told you all that I would talk about my husband's crazy ex. All right, now just a little recap from did he cheat? Okay, because again, just a little recap. My husband came home one day panting, breathing heavy, and he said, I have something to tell you. I went back over to my apartment because he was still transitioning, getting his things. And he said he ran into his old girlfriend. Now, you all have to watch the video to fill in the gaps. Until this day, I really don't know what went down, but it doesn't bother me. I'm not upset about it or anything like that. Well, of course, it's 20 years, almost 20 years later, anyhow, but I still like to kind of joke about it. Well, anyhow, it didn't just stop right there. Now, I know the woman's name, but I have never met her, never had a confrontation, never heard her voice, anything like that. Doesn't know how she looked, anything like that. But after we were married, my husband's crazy ex harassed him for probably a good 2 or 3 months after we were married. And I think what happened was she she couldn't accept the fact that he got married. Now listen, from what my husband told me, he let me know that hey, he had proposed to this woman 3 times. 3 times, purchased 3 different beautiful rings. And she just didn't marry him. Now, to me, my husband was and still is a very good catch. When I met him, he didn't have any kids, never been to jail, um, straight up God, didn't smoke, didn't drink, don't get high, and still none of those things to this day. So he was a great catch. And we got married on our third date. Now, she continued to harass my husband. She was going to the house, to his family's house. She was calling his job. She was trying to pop up on him. And she just kept harassing him. She wouldn't go away. She would not go away. And his family would call and say, hey, your old girlfriend came around, talking about you, looking for you. And then she would like pop up at his job and try to call his job. And it got to the point where she was like literally harassing my husband. And I said, look, you need to get a restraining order. Come on, let's go down to the police district and let's put a restraining order out on her. So we got to the police district, and the police cop was like, well, who wants to put the restraining order on a person, you or the husband? So I said he wants to, right? But my husband was like, he was hesitant about it. And I was like, wait a minute now, she's harassing you. You need to get a restraining order out against her. Well, lo and behold, we never did the restraining order because he had to do it. And I was a little salty. I was a little salty, but it wasn't nothing to interfere with our marriage. Hey, if you don't want to do it, I kind of got it. He got married on the third date. I can understand it probably was just a little more residual feelings, or he just didn't want to throw her under the bus like that. And I'm the type of person, I'll just go in on you. I will go in on your neck. And I consider myself as a very nice person. But I'm the type of person, I'm quiet, I'm laughable, I'm cordial and all that. But you don't want to tangle with, okay? Because I will go in on you. And I don't mean profanity, cursing, or anything like that. I will go in you with the book and the power of the pen and a very a very, very good vocabulary. Okay. Because when I get upset, like my vocabulary goes to the third power. It gets really good. And even myself, I'll be like, I said that. Wow. It'll just be like pop, 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 pop. That's how I deal with situations, by obeying the book, the power of the pen, and vocabulary. Okay. So he didn't want to go through with it. I was not upset to the point that it would have interrupted our new marriage, because we were still in the newlywed days, right? And hey, he didn't want to do it. And I could kind of see myself, if the shoe was on the other foot, I would have done the same thing too. You don't want to really ruin nobody's life or nothing like that. Although a restraining order is just there to keep people away, but at the same time, I kind of got it. Again, no big deal. All right. But she continued. She continued. I think she even harassed his car or did something like that, did something to the car. Something happened with the car because he bought her a car that was, it was a little messy, but something about a car. And I didn't ask a whole lot of questions. I didn't really get, get into detail about it, because I just looked at it like, that's pretty much his situation. That was something that happened. For some strange reason, I just really didn't get all into that. But I knew it existed, and I did give my advice about the restraining order. Now, when it came to the job, right, I couldn't really control that, because again, I never had a conversation with the a person or the young lady. But I'll tell you who handled her. It was the women at my husband's job who took care of that situation for me on my behalf, unknowingly to me. My husband came home and told me what was going down. And he said, my old girlfriend is calling the job, trying to talk to me. She's calling every day, several times a day, and things like that, right? And so he said, but the women at my job, my husband said, the women at my job are cussing her out and telling her off and saying, why you calling the job? He don't want your butt. He don't want your butt. He got a new wife now. He has a wife now. Stop calling the job. He doesn't want your butt no more. Stop calling the job. And when my husband told me that, I just fell out laughing. And they just went in on this girl. They just told her off. They cussed her out. And they did whatever it took to stop this woman from calling my husband and upsetting his job or trying to reach out and get in contact with him. And it was just hysterical. I was hysterical about it because it was just so funny, because I didn't know the women at his job. And when he finally took me to his job, the people were like, oh, okay. Okay, go ahead, Johnny. Go ahead, Johnny. Go ahead, Johnny. She's cute, and stuff like that. And was real nice to me and whatnot. But they handled the ex for me. I mean, they went in on her, called her all type of names, told her that you was a fool, you left a good man. Johnny is a good man. He did this for you. He already proposed to you 3 times. He already, hooked you up, bought you things, gave you an easy life, a good relationship. You the one to let a good man go. Now he has a wife and he's settled down, and now he's in a good relationship with someone who wants to be married to him. I mean, they schooled her, they scolded her, they chastised her. I mean, they put this chick in her place. They embarrassed her. They did everything to this girl except for jumped her butt. And I think if their job was not at risk, I think they would have fought that chick. I mean, it got that bad. It got that bad, y'all. And I'm still learning my cameras and everything. So y'all work with me, okay? Because I see my eyes shifting. So for those of you who have questions about, okay, if you marry somebody on the third date, I know they probably had somebody in their repertoire. They probably had somebody in the back pocket, probably was talking to somebody. In most cases, yeah, that could be the case, because we all know women that a man, and I'm gonna say a woman too, okay? I'm gonna speak on behalf of the women too. A man can date you for years and not marry you, and turn around and meet a woman that he met in 6 months or less and will marry that woman. And I honestly believe that I fell into that category with my husband. Okay? He wanted to be married. When a man wants to be married, ladies, he wants to be married. Now, with all honor and respect, due respect, if you don't want to marry the man, don't marry him and mess up his life. And the same thing with the man. If you don't want to marry the woman, stand your ground. No, I do not want to be married. And it's not you messing up their life, it's the person inviting the person into their lives who are not ready to commit to them or to be with them, or that is just simply not into them like that enough to marry them for whatever reason. I cannot say. Some people, they don't want to be married. It is what it is. And Maya Angelou told us, when a person shows you who they really are, believe them, right? Maya Angelou told us these things. And sometimes men and women, we have to accept what hurts. And sometimes we have to kiss several frogs in order to meet our Prince Charming, or our princess, or our queen, or our king, right? Sometimes we just have to do that. I mean, I have been told by men, I don't want to marry you, okay? To my face. I accepted it, all right. Because I always believed in giving a man a fair chance before he let a good woman go, okay? Now, I have never dated nobody over 3 months. And I believe it's because I knew I wanted more and I wanted better. And that was just my standard. Okay. I could feel within my heart, some people saying within their spirit, their intuition, my gut feeling, my belly, whatever. We all have this inner voice, this inner discernment. I like to call it my guardian angel. It will tell us. All right. So if you're with somebody and you know you really want to be married, I once heard a pastor say, it's a terrible thing to be with the wrong person when the right person comes along. So some of you all could be blocking your husband, your wife, your mate, because you're too afraid to let go of someone who's just not that into you. Okay? But I guarantee you, as soon as you meet the person you want to be with or you're supposed to be with, here come that ex trying to just pop out. Okay? But you better do like, what's his name? Kendrick Lamar. Wop, 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 wop. And put them right back in their place. Okay? Because that's a whole nother video about exes. All right? Because I got some juice on that too. So I just wanted to let you all know, if you get married to somebody, right? Less than knowing them for 5 years, 3 years, or 2 years. If you find yourself getting married to someone within, what is it, by the third date, right? Or within 6 months or a year, it's a possibility that that ex might try to pop out. And if she does, you know, I would say, or he does, I would say, don't entertain them, because they had an opportunity. They had a chance to be with you. And some of them might try to get real crazy, and you might have to go to the extent of getting a restraining order. But I think it's the responsibility of the person who is the ex of that ex to put that person in place and do not entertain them. If you feel as though you have to be on the phone with them and telling them your business and constantly giving them time, then you might have married the wrong person. Probably you needed to stay with your ex, the person who you never wanted to marry. Okay? But if you're serious, you're not going to allow for an ex to slip in. Now, that doesn't mean that you may not see an ex walking down the street and you say, hey, hi. You might even have some chit chat, right? But it shouldn't be to the extent where it crosses the line, all right? Especially in the early years of your marriage to a brand new person. And when getting married under such circumstances of marrying a person within 3 to 6 months, right? Like I said in my other video, it's not for the faint at heart. It's not for the faint at heart because you'll find yourself marrying the right person, but because of soul ties with your past, you can allow that to slip in and corrupt your genuine relationship. Oh, it's just so much to talk about. But I'm gonna stop right there. All I want you all to be aware of is an ex might pop in. And if they do, stand your ground. You all know your place, the reason why you got married, and you keep it moving. Okay. And I know sometimes when the ex shows up and you're married, you're happy, you're peaceful, it feels good. It feels good to watch them see you be in a healthy relationship. Excuse me. And to see them regret letting a good woman or a good man go. And I know a lot of people who do it. I have done it. I know my husband has done it. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not done. Hold up. The ex tried to pop up in 2024, y'all. So she's still regretting it. Whoever this woman is, she's still regretting it. My husband came home like 2 weeks ago and said, honey, guess what? And I said, what? And he said, you know my ex, when we first got married? I said, yeah. He said, she called my sister and said, how Johnny doing? So we both started laughing. And his sister is real comical and funny. And she was like, don't be trying to come in and ease up in on no good man. More than likely she's regretting it. Okay. All right. Especially if she hasn't been contacting the family over the last 20 years. Okay. So she's probably thinking about, man, I let that good man go. He was housing me. He was paying my bills. He was buying me diamond rings. He was giving me money. He was buying me cars, computers. I mean, she had it made. Whoever she was, I wouldn't have let him go. Because we all know it's good. It's not good, but it's hard is what I was trying to say or about to say. It's hard to find faithful people. It's hard to find good people. It really is. So you better recognize when it comes. Just like what's her name, Alicia Keys, her song says, when a real woman meet a real man, they recognize it. So you better be able to recognize when you see a good man and when you see a good woman. Okay? And their criteria, the criteria that I have for my man and what I have for my husband may not be the criteria that you're looking for in a person. All right? So you don't have to side yourself up with anybody and compare yourself with anybody else. All right? Although my husband was childless, never been to jail, wasn't a drinker, wasn't a smoker, not a partier, didn't swing left and right, wasn't a womanizer, none of that stuff. I just thank God for my husband, okay? And and I got exactly what I prayed for. All right. I still have the list. I'll do a video about that. The list. All right. And you all are going to be shocked to find out what was on my list. But to each his own. Everybody have a different path. I was in my 30s, so a lot of I wasn't into fairy tales. If I was in my early 20s, yeah, I would be looking for a fairy tale wedding and all that. Okay? That's another video I have to do. I have to show you all a picture of my husband, all right? So, on our wedding day, because I know some people are curious about, well, what did this what did this wedding look like on the third date? What kind of planning did you all do? Be shocked. But that doesn't mean you have to do what I did, all right? Because everybody have their own path and everybody have their own wants, goals, and desires. But keep in mind, yeah, there could be an X. Talk to y'all later. All right, take care. Oh, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and do a review. And please leave a comment. Leave a comment. I'm quite sure you all have a lot of questions. I know once this video hit, these videos and this playlist, it's going to attract a lot of attention and people are going to have a lot of questions and a lot of comments to make. So I'm quite sure it's going to be really entertaining. So get your Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew, or ginger, your popcorn, or your cheddar chips and enjoy. Let's just have fun. Let's talk this out. And I just hope that um, my videos will help somebody. All right. All right. You all take care. Have a good evening. Good night.